So this is the quiz for week 8-3, and I'm going to start from the top and go to the bottom basically. So first, you create a WoW user class where a password, username, real name, and address are stored in a private variable, and then make a constructor that will create the user. So I have already created the using user class, which will consist of the main, and a WoW user class, which is where I'll put all the other stuff. So first we're going to make all our variables, which are all going to be strings, and they're all going to be private. So, password. Username, real name, and address. And now I'm going to make the constructor, which will put together our fake user for this game. Don't forget that the name of the constructor should be the same as the name of the class, with the same uppercase and lowercase. So, constructor. Okay, so we've made our private variables and our constructor. So next we're going to provide a setter and getter for the username, and I'd also like to make the getter for the real name and address while we're at it. So, setters and getters. So first we're going to make setters for a setter for the username. And then we're going to make getters for the username, real name, and address. This will allow other classes that aren't WoW user to access this information that was originally private. So username, real name, and address. Okay. So that's been done. Now we're going to provide a private method that checks an entered password. So don't forget that it's going to be private, and since it's checking a password, it'll be Boolean. And it won't be void because we're returning whether it's true or false. So private Boolean if, and we're going to use the equals to check to see if the two strings match each other. Then you return true if they match, else you return false. Okay. Next, we've already provided getters for real name and address, and now we're going to provide a method that takes as argument a string password and return the value when passwords match. So I'm going to call this access user. And we're going to use the isPassword method to determine whether this person can access the information or not. So if isPassword results in true, then we're going to return their real name using the getter. So get real name, and then new line, because it will look nicer, and use the getter for the address. Otherwise, you want to return incorrect password. That way they can't access your real name and address, which are private. So next, in the using user, I'm going to import a scanner, Java. So first you want to initialize. Next, we want to ask for the information that will be stored. Don't capitalize the letter N in next line, but do capitalize the L in line. I'm going to so set your username, real name, and now we want to set the information they've inputted into a user. User new, so we want to create a new World of Warcraft user. And don't forget that the order that our constructor will take in information is password, and then username, and then real name, and then their address. So first their password, username, real name, address. And these are all values that the program gets from here. So next, I'm going to prompt to access private information. And we're going to call this entered password so that it differentiates it from the original password that they set for their user. So we're going to compare the password that they entered to the password that they actually set using the isPassword method. And if they match, they'll get the real name and address, and if the two passwords don't match, then they'll get back incorrect password. So let's try this. Run. So 123, username 321, Gil. So I'm going to match the passwords, and I get my real name and my address. And we're going to run this again to make sure the other case works. So setting my password again is 123. And this way the passwords won't match, and it outputs incorrect password, which is correct. Hope that helped. Thanks.